Am I the asshole for not telling the man that the research he was mansplaining to me was my own? I don't normally post on Reddit, so please forgive me if I do this wrong. I, 33 female, work in a very small, technical, specific, male-dominated field. I won't give too much information on it as I think you could easily find my identity if I did, but let's just say it's a subcategory of law. I graduated 9 years ago. For anyone wondering, the system in my country is different than in the US, so I only studied for 5 years, and am now a lawyer as well as a researcher. I published some work here and there but nothing too major, and no one outside of that field knows my work. Yesterday I went to a bar with a couple of friends who introduced me to one of their friends who works in the same field as me. I was pretty excited to meet him because it's rare to meet people who work in that field. He doesn't exactly do the same thing as I do. He's not a lawyer but a legal advisor, but we work on the same topics. So naturally we started talking about our work. At one point we were discussing a point on which we had different opinions, so I explained mine to him and he replied by saying that my opinion was based on nothing while his was based on the work of a professional, you guessed it, me. He basically started explaining my work to me, but in a completely wrong way and missed all of my points. I asked him if he was sure that that was what the author meant and he said that he was because it was pretty simple actually. For another good 20 minutes he explained all of it to me in details, like I was a first-year law student. I didn't say anything because it was pretty funny to watch him say things that were completely wrong with so much confidence. After that the topic changed and the night went on, but at the end of the night right before leaving I decided to tell him that I was actually the person that wrote the work he had quoted and that he hadn't really understood it. He reacted very badly and got angry, and he told me that I had manipulated him to humiliate him. He yelled at me for not saying it was my work at the beginning. I simply replied that he had embarrassed himself and left. I woke up this morning to texts from my friends saying I was wrong for causing drama and tension and that I could have been nicer to their friend. I'm not sure if I'm in the wrong there. I mean yes, I could have told him right away, but is it that big of a deal that I didn't? I'm not exactly sure. Am I the asshole? Edit. I forgot to make this clear and maybe it's a bit of a misunderstanding, but both conversations happened only between the two of us. We were the only ones talking about our work and our friends also weren't really there when I told him that I was the author. So it's not like I publicly humiliated him. The only thing embarrassing for him here is that a woman seems smarter than him, and I think that's what GE had an issue with. Edit 2. I've seen some comments claiming that this post was fake because that just doesn't happen. I've seen many other stories where the same thing happens. That's not realistic. I'm not trying to justify anything because I don't really care, but I just find it funny to see lots of comments from women sharing similar stories and then lots of comments from men saying it doesn't happen. Not the asshole and kudos to you for being so calm when he mansplained your own research. Question. Did your friends also reprimand their friend for screaming at you? I mean that wasn't exactly friendly either. Edit. Spelling. Not the asshole. This is hilarious. This is as good as that man on Twitter that tried to tell Margaret Atwood which religious doctrine The Handmaid's Tale was a critique of. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. He fucked around, found out. He's just pissed as a small man that realized he was outclassed and potentially made some massive career errors. Being plain wrong, to start with, and then being enough of a misogynist to behave like that without realizing you were the author. You took the trash out. He probably behaves like this in the office too, so taking him down a peg probably hit too hard. Not the asshole. A decent person would just laugh and apologize admitting he really must have looked funny to you, and then respectfully ask to explain the points he did not get. No matter how late you revealed the truth, and even if you said that a little bit bitter, any sane, healthily confident person would apologize for misinterpreting your text. He could continue arguing, but how he reacted was not normal. You're okay. Not the asshole. This is what is described in the Rebecca Solnit essay. She didn't coin the term mansplain, but it was coined in response to her essay to describe this exact situation, i.e. a specific type of condescension. Am I the asshole for keeping food from my wife? My wife loves fruit. She eats a lot of it and I, as the person who buys most of the groceries, try to keep the place constantly stocked. Apples, peaches, figs, plums, whatever is in season, it's on our counter. Right now it's persimmon season. We both like very different types. She likes fuyu and she likes them firm. I like any kind, but mostly hachaya and like them the texture of pudding. So I leave mine to ripen, which can take days to weeks sometimes. Neither of us likes the other style much. This week we got a bunch of each at the farmer's market. I left mine be in a basket in the corner of the kitchen. She ate all of hers by midweek and I got her more at the market and she ate those too. I just stared eating mine today and offered her a bite. She said, "No, I'll get my own." And I said, "No way, those are mine." I've been saving them and you know how much effort it takes to get them the way I like it, and you don't even like them that way. She got upset at this and said this has been my thing our whole marriage. I designate food as mine. All food should be anyone's to eat if that person wants it at that moment, she says. I, personally, disagree with this. And I live my life leaving her what is hers, whether it's half of the leftovers or half a piece of cake or whatever. I don't just eat things. I consider her, and I do my best to make sure she has what she likes around. And if I do accidentally eat the entirety of something she wanted, I hear it, believe me. Am I the asshole for keeping some fruit to myself? It sounds like she only wants some of yours after she's had 2 batches of hers. Doesn't sound very equitable. Not the asshole, your wife needs to let you have what you have set aside for yourself. She has had plenty of her own. Not the asshole. All food should be anyone's to eat if that person wants it at that moment, she says. Isn't this a mentality we teach out of, like, toddlers? Not the asshole. If my husband buys something specifically for himself and asks me not to touch it, I don't, because I'm not a selfish little gremlin. Not the asshole. It's easy to say that when you're the only one getting to enjoy the fruit. I have a 12-year-old and she would routinely eat all of something until I talk to her. Now she stops when there is 2, so her dad and I have a chance to eat at least one of them. How is it that my 12-year-old understands this concept more than your wife? Not the asshole. Would it be possible to just buy more fruit in the future? I do think your wife is being a little childish. She is expecting you to share all of your food while she shares none of her own. Also, why can't she just go get her own food? Surely she has money, a means of transportation, and functioning legs to walk into the grocery store and purchase all the fruit her heart desires. Not the asshole, your wife is selfish. Probably not even consciously, but she is. Maybe show her this thread. Also, your fruit budget is unhinged. Am I the asshole for telling my friend she's too sensitive after she accused me of copying her style? My friend, Sarah, 25F, has always been super into fashion. Recently, I, 19F, started dressing up more and even bought a jacket she owns because I loved how it looked on her. She got upset and said I'm copying her vibe. I told her it's just a jacket and she should take it as a compliment. She called me obsessive and said it's weird I'm imitating her. I got frustrated and told her she's being too sensitive over something so small. Now she's barely talking to me, and mutual friends think I crossed a line. Am I the asshole for not taking her feelings seriously? Seems you've left something out here. She didn't just go off about the jacket, but that she's been feeling this way for a while. She told you she feels like you're stealing her vibe, so I'm sure this isn't the first issue with topic. I'm apt to say not the asshole well because it's clothes. But if you have been copying her vibe and trying to make it your own, then yes, you are the asshole. Everyone else taking her side over something ostensibly so small suggests this may be part of a broader dynamic issue. There's also a pretty big age difference between you for this stage of life. How did you become friends with this group? What else have you copied beyond the jacket? If your style has changed recently, as you said it has, and you've copied more than just that jacket from her, it's definitely weird. Info: was the jacket the only thing you copied? You bought a jacket after seeing her use it. You quite literally are copying her style. That being said, unless you continue to copy her style after she already told you it makes her uncomfortable, not the asshole. It's one article of clothing, unless you repeatedly do it, who cares? Maybe just don't wear the jacket near her lol. I mean, you did copy her style. She may be being too sensitive about it, but she's not wrong. Am I the asshole for telling my sister if her boyfriend doesn't start contributing he has to go? My sister and I have our own house together and she recently became pregnant. Her boyfriend had nowhere to go and was going to have to move to a very far town, which would cause conflict for her because she wouldn't have help with the baby, a ride to work, or a ride to her appointments. When we discussed it, I told him as long as he helps split the rent between us, helps keep the house clean and helps us pay the bills, which is only water, gas and Wi-Fi, that he could stay. The whole time he's been here, he's looked for a job, but he can't find anything, so we've been paying the rent and bills without him contributing. I bought $800 worth of food and it's almost gone. I work 16-hour shifts and I'm barely home, so I know it's him that's constantly in the kitchen. Our water bill is $600 because he takes 30-minute showers and has a whole routine he has to follow. He doesn't help clean unless we ask him, and even then my sister does everything for him because he doesn't know how. I often clean by myself because they both don't help clean like they should, but mainly him. I told her countless times to talk to him about helping with bills and cleaning, but not much has changed. I don't even think she's making it seem like it's urgent. I was being understanding and sympathetic at first, but now I'm becoming annoyed and regretful. She's going on maternity leave in March, so I know if he doesn't get a job by then I'll be stuck paying everything by myself until her disability kicks in, and I'll be stuck cleaning everything because she'll be recovering from childbirth and won't be able to help. So am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Make moves. If you think you are being selfish, unsupportive, good, you are probably on right track. Do not let these two adults bring in a baby thinking they can just raft about. They got 3 months to learn to be adults, let alone parents. Baby can go without a parent for a little bit, baby has to have adults though. Do not become that adult without a fight. One of my best friends raised her niece, and while it's all love, the one sore spot she has is how her sister stuck that on her. Not the asshole. Your sister got herself pregnant by someone who was clearly not ready to be a dad. If she wants to play house with a baby and someone who behaves like a grown baby, then she's free to do that, but she shouldn't be dragging you into that. This man has invaded your space and eaten food and your money. You are underreacting. Kick him out. How do people have babies with useless dodos? Not the asshole. Absolutely not. You're not his mom. He has a freaking baby on the way and he's acting like a 13-year-old kid. Not the asshole. You need to deal with this ASAP, because if he is still living there when the baby is born, he'll be there forever. No way she's going to make him move out while she has a newborn. She'll want him there for help and support. I think rather than telling her that he has to move out, a better approach might be telling her you are moving out yourself. As long as you are still at that house, they will be making excuses and delaying. If you are the one moving out, they can't really stop you, and as soon as you move, you're done with him. Be direct in the moment. Please wash the toilet and sink while I clean the counter, etc. He'll gradually learn what's expected. You do the dishes while I sweep the floor and take out the trash. Don't buy food for the house. Eat out or keep it in your trunk until they catch on. Ask to see his resume to help him out. Tell your sister to look online for him. If in a year you are supporting them both, sell the house and buy a 1-bedroom condo.